Hey guys, just want to welcome you to episode 23 of the Angry Advocate podcast. My name is Ed. I am the guitar player of Dust Hand and the owner of Advocate Media.
And hi everyone, welcome back. I am Ash, the owner of Angry Ginger Photography. I am so excited for episode 23. We have Asher Thomas, the man that does so many things, including he is the vocalist of Nailed Shut. He does art management for Evil Eye Artists. He founded Tough Luck Fest and is also a photographer with Poltergeist Photo.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
What's up? I'm good.
Nice.
How are we?
It's good night.
Doing decent.
It's light out longer. I went for a walk right before to sunset. It was cool. We like it. Better things happening.
Yeah, daylight savings tripped me up so bad. I thought it was extra, or I thought we lost an hour, so I was like,
oh yeah, all messed up.
So fucking confused.
Yeah.
Not knowing what time is exactly.
Yeah, definitely messed me up a little bit, but today was nice getting out of work and having it be just beautiful out. I was inside all day. Not all day, but a good chunk of the day I couldn't enjoy outside. So once I left, I was like, oh my God, windows down, music all the way up.
It feels like summer, and it's so
yeah,
love it. I like it.
Yeah. It felt good to kind of see that. I'm hopefully we don't get a couple storms at the end of the year, which typically we do. I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Let's just hope we cruise into spring and summer pretty easy. But we'll
New England, man. You don't.
I know. I can't. We can wish. We can wish that's gonna happen.
And that's everyone's you're used to it. It's yes, I am, but I'm still gonna
yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah, I still fucking hate the cold, in any way. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Because as much as everybody deals with it, you can still hate it. You know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason to not hate it sometimes, but for sure. Cool. Yeah, man. Awesome to have you on the podcast. Definitely had some conversations here and there in the past, dealt with some artists who you're working with, which is awesome. So it's nice to kind of have you on a different format, different platform, to ask some questions and kind of go through some stuff and learn a little bit more about you, kind of, more intimately in depth here in the podcast realm. So super excited about that.
I appreciate you guys asking me. Yeah, Ash messaged me a while back, and I was stoked because I saw some stuff about the podcast popping up, and it looked super cool. So yeah,
it's definitely been fun. We have been really pushing every week to do one. We took a break. We took a break last week, which honestly was great. But I'm glad we're back and kind of jumping back on the bandwagon here. Kind of push stuff forward a little bit and kind of move in that direction and keep going. How we're going and kind of push it a little bit. So definitely worth it. Worth it.
Yeah, it's good to see it surviving because I feel like a lot of people, especially in the podcast world, try to do it and then it's a lot of work, but you guys are pushing forward, which is awesome. So
yeah, that's I say that's definitely one of the things that I think we nailed down pretty quickly was we both don't have a lot of time, but we want to do it. So how can we make it work? Yeah, and we live in two different states. We really had to hash stuff out really early. And it's just worked out.
Is the perfect scenario.
Yeah, it's just worked out really, really well. So appreciate that you kind of see that. That's kind of cool. Just to kind of get that recognition. And we've definitely been getting that from some people, especially lately. The last couple of episodes, we've definitely been having some people, either when they're on the podcast or after, reach out and just kind of say a lot of nice things about it. So it's been really nice to kind of have that. So,
oh yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But we can hop into questions. I'll start off with number 1. How long has Nailed Shut been a band, and when did you become a vocalist?
Yeah. So I'm from Massachusetts, and I've wanted to do the band thing for a really long time. I love music. I've always loved music. I've always loved metal and hardcore and punk. But I didn't really start getting into the world of being a vocalist or even that idea until I got out of high school and was trying to say like what the fuck do I want to do? Like what's trying to figure out and like just what with music I wanted to do. And I moved into Boston. I've always been like a part of Boston, but I moved directly into the city when I was fresh out of high school. I did that, and I just met the guys that would eventually become the band. At this point, it's almost 3 years since we like really have been pushing it. Yeah, it's been almost 3 years, which is sweet. Doing what we can. We met in school. We met around the city. Started just writing some stuff together, and my goal from that, like genuinely, like with starting a band and starting like a what was originally going to be a hardcore project and is not anymore, definitely not, but it's something. We say it's like metallic deathcore or whatever. I don't even know. It's
Yeah.
just an angry metal band that we just like to do our thing.
Yeah.
But our goal from that was to like simply for me was to play like one show. I always tell people that because it seemed like such a crazy thing at the time, especially as like somebody that was never a vocalist before, to be like have like a show and do the show thing. And I wasn't much of a performer or anything before this band. Um, but I had like we wanted to do the thing, and we ended up playing just the one show at Ye Old O'Brien's Pub, and in Alston, Massachusetts. Like it's got a place in my heart, and it always will. But
Same.
yeah, dude, it's got
I
history.
love that venue. Everyone like doesn't always have the nicest things to say. I don't like the beam. That's my only complaint on the place, but it's still covered in stickers and
Yeah.
true to my heart.
It's iconic, yeah, and the bathroom without the door on it. But you know what? It's got character, and that's what I love about it. And
For sure.
yeah, yeah, it's cool. That place rocks, and we did the first show, and then just we kept pushing along, and the idea was like, okay, like what's the next goal? What's the next idea? So yeah, been about 3 years, and I became
Crazy.
a vocalist at the exact same time. I'd say I'm a horrible singer, so I can't say anything about being a vocalist before this band.
Yeah. So what's crazy to learn about that is I feel like that's really amazing just based off of, your stage presence now, like, and just you as a vocalist in general and the band too. I like, I mean, I, uh, you know, that short amount of time and never really performing before that and then being in a band and pushing yourselves to where you guys are is huge. That's massive.
Thank you.
That's quite impressive. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, and it's funny because like now I think I probably taking the stage for granted a little bit too much because I've been doing it since I was like 15 and I'm 38, right? So it's like for me, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm playing a show, but it's kind of cool to hear you be like, I did it 3 years ago for the first time. And it's like, I don't know, that's really cool. And I think obviously like your dedication and your passion obviously shows through that, especially with only being 3 years. And like, I mean, just some of the videos that I've seen of you being a vocalist and also just the band in general. You guys have a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And obviously people are recognizing that, you know what I mean? Just from, where you guys are, where you're playing, who you've toured with, all that stuff. So putting in the time, the effort, the work, I guess, at that point, it's like you don't necessarily need a lot of experience because you've had those 3 years and you've just pushed it and you've made it what you've made it what you've needed to make it, to get to
You've
where you
gotten
guys are.
Yeah,
Uh,
like you've gotten the experience in 3 years that like a lot of people don't see in 10.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's been like immersion therapy in a way,
Oh
like
yeah,
where
absolutely.
we like like I said before, like we had that again. Thank you. That means a lot. That's very appreciative.
Yeah.
Um, we like had these just first goals, and that's what I also have said to the guys and like friends that I've expressed wanting to do this as like the thing for a while too. Like the idea of having like the goal of playing that first show and just being like, that would be amazing, and being like able to do something like one single show as a vocalist, and then seeing
Right.
that that's possible, and then saying, okay, what's the next goal? Let's go
Right.
on a tour. How is that possible?
Right.
I can book it myself. Like, we don't have anyone that's gonna back us on this, and
Right.
being that like 3 years ago, and then the immersion therapy of putting yourself in the position to say like,
Yeah.
okay, if I want to do this, how am I going to do this?
Correct. Yeah.
And that was like the first time in my life, also being out of high school and being not really somebody at that point that really cared about a lot of things, to be completely honest. But then having something I cared about so much, saying like, we like this is a thing that I care about and can do, just by like busting my own balls and
Yeah,
working
for sure.
with people that care. And again, like the New England metal scene in general is so like incredible, and it's supportive, and people want to see each other succeed. So
Yeah, for
that helps
sure.
too.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely I totally agree with what you're saying. Like I definitely think that the best way to accomplish things is figuring it out the hard way yourself. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you figured it out the hard way early on, and
Mhm.
have, like you said, like you had a goal. You had a specific goal. I'm going to play one show. Cool. That went really well, or didn't. I don't know. But like then you're like, okay, well, we played one, so why can't we play two? Well,
Mhm.
now why can't we go on a weekender? Oh, now why can't we go for a week?
Exactly,
Right. You
exactly.
know what I mean? And it's like,
Always just goal building, like
yep, yep,
shooting for the stars always, like
yep.
shooting as high as you can and having the big goals, but also just like, what can I do this year?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
like, what,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like you can have those overall super big goals. I want to tour with this band. I want to tour with that band. But it's like as
Mhm.
long and those are good goals to strive to have. But to,
Absolutely.
to to have the part where you're like, my first goal is to play a show.
Mhm.
Now it's to play 2 shows.
Mhm.
Now it's to play 7 shows. Now
100%.
it's to play a week. Now it's, you know what I mean? So it's like if you build but still have those big goals, and like you said, you learned all this through immersion. You literally put yourself in that place
Mhm.
and worked
Figuring
your
it out.
ass off to get to the point where
Lot
you're
of
at now.
a lot of show booking.
Yeah, and not a lot of people are able to do that. Not, you know what I mean? Like, I wish I had more time to do that. I know I'm the type of person who could do that. Um, and that's, that's cool that you know,
Push past that barrier
yeah,
to get
and s
yourselves to where you need to be.
and so early on too, right? Like, I mean, like, you're how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
You're good, of course. I'm 23.
Right, exactly. So it's like you very early on was like, I'm doing this and pushed to do that. And now you are doing that. Um, and in spades too, you know? So it's just, really, really cool to just see you like kind of
Thank you.
push that, you know? But
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks.
cool. Let's jump into question number 2. How is planning a festival, and also playing in the festival with your band? So all of that together, like how's
Cool.
that process? How's that work?
Yeah. So, also through college, something that I started, and it's kind of, I guess, has to do with being in a band and kind of relating it to that, is there are a lot of bands that I grew up, or not grew up along, but like being in that scene, saw them doing a similar thing and doing the thing that they wanted to do, and in a way like getting to places that they want to get to, and also wanting to be a part of that, and helping them in any way. So me and some friends, at this point, it's me and my partner. We are running a small artist management company called Evil Eye, and it's essentially bands in all these different alternative scenes, like alternative rock, emo, pop punk, hardcore, metal, all of these different genres that aren't necessarily on like the forefront of music right now, but we care about. And in terms of relating that to a festival, we wanted to start like our own independent festival in the Boston area, especially because Boston has such a history with genres like that and music like that. So last year we, through the management group, started a festival, doing it last year at Bread Music Hall, doing it again this year at Bread Music Hall, that we called Tough Luck Fest. And it's just taking bands that we think are really amazing and putting a lot of effort and time into their craft and just really striving for it, and putting them on a stage that maybe they haven't played before, like a bigger stage. Maybe they have, is awesome either way. But and doing that alongside headliners that, like, we've been doing it with one headliner. Again, it's super small at this point, but doing it with a headliner that is out there and doing the thing of, like, they're touring and they have a little more recognition just because they've been in it longer, or for whatever it may be. But we did it for the first year last year. We did 2 days, Friday, Saturday in September. We had day one being like an emo alt rock type thing. So day one, our headliner was this band from New York called Young Culture, which is, they're awesome. They're super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're a fan, Ash, are you a fan? Are you like,
Yes,
yeah.
like that entire, just that like niche is like perfect, and I'm like happy that like you separated like onto 2 days like that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it relates because I mean, a lot of people in both like scenes of music, they overlap. I mean, I know you love metal as well, and this is like proof of concept. Like, it's the idea that, like, yes, both genres of music are very different, but there's so much overlap. And
Exactly.
we had Young Culture and for day one, and at the same time we had like some emo bands on that day. We had some pop punk bands. One of the bands I manage, Ring Pop, is this pop punk like all rock band whose one of their favorite bands is Young Culture, and that was a big goal of saying, like, can we get them to play a show together? And it worked, and it was awesome, and they became friends. Surreal. It was super cool. And then day two, we had this band from New York also. I don't know why New York just ended up working out. But we had this band called Monochromatic Black, which is, they're also kick ass. And also some of like the nicest people I've ever met. Like, we still keep up with them after like a year later. Or I guess it'd be like half a year later at this point, but we keep up with them, and they're super cool. They're going on tour with Carnifex, which is insane.
That's sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. And one of the other bands I manage on day two, Slamwich, which is another insane band from the New England scene. Frankie, their vocalist, recommended them to me and was like, this would be a sick band to play with. So it's just like that idea of putting together bands that the bands we work with and are invested in and just care about so much, look up to, and making it happen. So we're doing it again this year. I'm not going to say with who, because we have our headliners.
Nice.
It's looking awesome. We're fucking so stoked. We're so stoked. We got a Boston representative for day two, which is really sick, as the headliner. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. That like draw will be
it's gonna be great. So we're rolling that out soon. We're gonna announce that, and just start putting that out. And we got some really awesome local bands that are killing it right now. So
nice.
That's
fun.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about playing a festival, or is that, I know I went on a tangent. I don't want to.
Yeah, you can be for sure.
You can keep going if you're into it.
Yeah.
We last year we got to play this really awesome festival called Incarceration in Ohio. Never thought it would happen, but it was really awesome. And we just got an offer the other day to play this festival in Denver, which I've never been to that part of the US, but before touring, I've never traveled, like, ever. I've never been anywhere. Like, I've never traveled anywhere other than like Massachusetts, and like I flew to Florida like twice when I was younger to see like my grandparents. Like, yeah, I just had never been anywhere. Like, it was funny. My geography is terrible up until booking tours. Like, I remember being like 14 and failing like all these like state tests that I had to take because I had no idea where any of the states were. And I still don't know that half of the US, to be honest, because I just haven't been there yet. But when we tour there, I'm sure I will.
Like,
if you looked at me and said, point where Colorado is on a map, I could not do it.
Yeah.
Just being honest, it's not my forte.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
We're playing this festival called Unhinged, which is a brand new AEG festival. It's Lamb of God on our day headlining, and then Knocked Loose day one headlining.
That's awesome.
With
Oh my
Dillinger and Jesus Peace, Tsunami. Who the hell else?
Wait, I did see this. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Your name's like right next to the like big truck,
We
right?
got Big Ass Truck.
Big
Yeah.
ass truck. That's what
Word.
it is.
Yeah, I
That's
love
sick.
Big Ass Truck. I was stoked to see them on.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But yeah, it's surreal. Knocked Loose is my favorite band, so I like was shitting bricks when I got the offer, and yeah, very, very honored to be a part of that. So
That's
um
amazing.
That's
yeah,
super cool.
super, super cool.
I know
We're
that feeling. I got to shoot Knocked Loose and Slipknot last year, and I was just like crying the whole time because I have the same to the day birthday as Isaac Hale, so like
Oh,
they are
no way.
like in my heart special place.
Was this at the Mansfield like
Yes.
Xfinity? Oh, dude, I was there. I was way back.
I love that. I was at one point like running through the huge ass place, and I look up and Kumi is just working it, and he's just like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm so happy to see you right now. Like, thank you just for perfect." Yeah.
Does he work? He works at the Xfinity Center, or he volunteered?
What was that?
Kumi volunteers there or works there?
I think he works for Live Nation.
Oh, sweet, cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I've seen him at a few things. I forget also. It'll come back to me. But yeah, just seeing him like at the midst of this jam-packed place was just like the exact moment that was needed. It was
That's
perfect
funny.
night.
Amazing. Hell yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Amazing. So we can hop into question 3. Can you tell us about your favorite experiences or shows as a photographer so far?
Sure. I hope I can shoot Knocked Loose at that festival. That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. That's again that'd be a really cool moment.
Yeah.
But I started also shooting bands primarily to help the bands that we like manage and work with, as a means of like, we don't have a budget here, unfortunately, to always like get content for the bands we're working with. So again, like we're not a massive artist management group. It's literally at this point me and Olivia, who I'm in her room right now. But we like we don't have all these people. Like we have all these amazing people we can work with, and we're outsourcing where we can. But when we didn't have a budget, and that still at this point don't fully, I started shooting the bands we work with, and it's incredibly fun. I mean, Ash, you know, it's like you like, of all people, like, you know, that shooting a band is almost like being a part of the show. Like it's
Exactly.
a whole experience, and you have the power as a photographer to be like, excuse me, holding the camera up, like, let me get through.
Exactly. And just I've gone to Gateway in Lawrence a few times, and it's a very jam-packed place, and it's just like, nope, I'm in my little corner. And it's like everyone still has the respect, and it's like if you get hit, it's like still of course part of it, but
yeah,
exactly,
but they're looking out for you. You're like,
exactly. But that's like what I love, because I just started booking shows, and like the shows that I'm doing, I'm just like hiring all my friends that are photographers. It's like these, because I'm usually the house photographer for Bad Burger where they are, and it's like getting to do the full circle moment of like all of us winning is just amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just a community building, like everybody helping each other out, and like sending you like the photo and being like, because you asked for a photo for this podcast, and I was like, our good friend Madison, like we all know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Maddie.
Yeah,
She
shout out
freaking
Maddie
listens to all these.
Yeah.
like she's everywhere.
Yeah, that's I think one of the funnest things about being in the photography game. Like the 3 people that I can name that helped me, and I've said this before, like Ash is one of them, Maddie's one of them, and Ian's one of them. Those were like the 3 people who I reached out to and like got a little bit of inspiration and like pushed like to where I wanted to be. And
Is that
really cool.
Ian Urquhart?
Yeah.
We just did our 3 music videos with him. And
Nice.
Oh,
the best guy
Amazing.
ever. Like,
Yeah, he's literally the best. Like
Mhm.
the absolute best. Like there's
And just working with him.
every which way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got to shadow him for Rap Blood's music video, and it was just the best experience, like walking me through like whatever he could, including me on whatever. I had a light that was just moving back and forth for hours, but it was amazing just to be there and be a part of it and around him because he's a god.
Yeah.
Mhm. He's so
Yeah.
sweet. He's
Yeah,
just
and he's just like yeah, like I've seen him in multiple capacities. He shot Death's Hand's first music video. And then
So-
I saw him at the State Theater in Portland, Maine when In Flames played. And so he shot all of In Flames stuff for their tour that was last summer or whatever. So he was there for that date, and I think they hired him for that date and the New Hampshire date. And so even like I saw that he was going to be there, so I messaged him. He's like, make sure you find me when I'm there or whatever. And like I was over at like the bar, and it's like I think Gate Creeper opened up or something. So like Gate Creeper played, stopped playing, and like in that little intermission, I just see him run from Outback directly to me, and he's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey!" Like gave him a big hug, and everyone's looking at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, and I'm like, "I'm nobody. He's the guy you
He's
should."
everything.
Yeah, like, and so he came out, gave me a hug, was like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "I'm doing good. How are you?" He's like, "I'm having a blast," and then he told me he was doing the Portland date and the New Hampshire date, and he's
Hell yeah.
he's just
Mhm.
Genuine,
yeah.
must be protected at all costs.
Yeah, and watching him in his element, especially when he was shooting In Flames, it was so cool. Like he was just like it was so
Wow.
it was effortless for him. Like it just like I don't know. It's really cool when you can see that and then you see the final footage and you're just like, holy crap. Like he shot like both video and photos for both, but
Yeah.
just crazy.
That
Crazy
was
stuff.
the same thing for Slipknot because like all the 15 photographers doing it, we were there for the first 3 songs, and then we come out, and then in comes Ian, like because he was there like for
Yeah.
Slipknot and everything.
So
Just
crazy. His photos
insane.
for Slipknot, I've seen those, are like nuts.
Yeah, they're nuts.
That was like the cool thing of what he
Absolutely
said, that Slipknot like reaches out, like we'll see who's in the area and reaches out like per area, which is amazing that they're looking at still local scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, like In Flames did the same thing. They just kept him for those 2 dates, and then once they moved on, I'm assuming past the New England area, they must have done someone else local. Which, yeah, like you said, that's super rad because they could probably easily just hire someone to do the whole tour, but instead, like you're
Very cool.
hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's
Mhm.
super cool.
I agree.
super cool. Cool. Let's jump into question number 4. Who are some of your favorite local bands right now? And local can be more than just Massachusetts.
Okay.
So
The first one that comes to mind is not from Massachusetts. This is a band that we played a few shows with. But I just like I always bring them up because they're just like number one, the nicest people ever, and their music absolutely rips. But this band from Albany called Halo Bite, they're just like
I went to high school with Russ, the drummer.
No
We
way.
grew up 5 minutes down the road from each other.
They're like
Yeah,
so talented and so sweet, and I
nicest
like
people.
truly like I will sit down and I have their EP Winter Circle on vinyl. I bought it when we played a few shows with them, but it was so cool because we played 3 shows with them. The first one was in like this Burlington house venue, and they set up their merch, and I was like, "Hi guys, I love your music. I absolutely love your guys' music." And they were like, "Oh my god, what's up?" And they were so sweet, and we're just like we're all tight now and good friends. And I booked them for a show in Worcester a little while back, and they're just the best, and I love their sound. And they're also so dedicated to what they do. So
Exactly.
Halo Bite. And then there's this band from Boston that's been around for a long time. They're about to play, I think, like the 10th anniversary of one of their records, but Actor Observer, if you guys know Actor Observer.
Yep. I saw them
Again,
on Taffeta.
Amazing. Like some of the best performers. They're super inspiring. Greg, their vocalist, is a good friend of mine, and the way he like just moves on stage, he's like the same like way as a lot of my favorite vocalists in like a grander scale, like his stage presence is he just like he locks into this new character that you just wouldn't like expect him to be, and it's he's acting, and that's what I also say a lot, like performing is like acting. Like I'm sure you
Yeah.
also get that, Ed, in a way of like you're like kind of embodying like a character that has to like sometimes like put on an angry face or whatever you're
Yeah. Yeah.
like, but he's just so good at like being this like bigger than life guy when he's on the stage, and also then he gets off and he's like, "What's up? Like, how are you?" Like he's just like
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Exactly.
yeah, Actor Observer's nuts. Um there are so many great bands, honestly. Like when we've toured, I've just been like mind blown by how many amazing bands there are. Um I wish I could I gotta make a list for like my favorite band in every state. I want to do that. It would just
You
be
should.
so
That'd
cool.
be cool.
It'd be
Yeah.
really,
That's
really cool.
Yeah.
Um I was gonna say this band God's Eyes from New York. They played our festival last year. They were on tour with Edict. Again, Edict, awesome.
Yeah.
Edict
mhm.
ass. Those guys are like veterans of the scene, and they're just
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, God's Eyes is like again one of those bands that had some of the best stage presence I've ever seen, and yeah, really also just down to earth dudes. So yeah, those are some of my favorites. I could probably like take another like I could just go through with how many sick
Yeah.
bands there are and just keep naming them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot. That's I think in one of the last couple episodes that we had done, we'd talked about just the New England scene in general and just how like insane it is right now with just I don't know, so many bands just really pushing themselves and playing
Yeah,
out of state and touring
yeah,
and doing all that. And I feel like there's just a lot of that going on and just endless amounts of bands right now that you can just
yeah,
like name, you know, and
yeah,
that's why we love this question. It's just it's like
yeah,
sometimes it could be hard for people, but sometimes it's just like I could go on for an hour naming bands, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah. And like those 4 bands I named, like Edict, Actor Observer, Halo Bite, and God's Eyes, they all sound so different. They
yeah,
and that's like
They
what's
do.
cool about it. Like they could all play on the same bill together. So
yeah,
Easily. I personally love mixed bills. It's funny because
me
I
too.
say that and the shows I'm doing are just relatively becoming like my first one was hardcore. Now I
Mhm.
have like more like I'll say deathcore death metal show coming up, yada yada, and everything in between. But I personally love Halo Bite just because of everything. I started listening to them and then found out that Russ was in it, which is
Oh,
wild.
dude, cool.
Yeah, they played my first show. Maddie played Cleansed was the
Mhm,
opener, which was amazing. And then Actor Observer, I actually hadn't heard of them prior to the show. I think I was there for In Good Nature.
mhm,
But after seeing them, like I have not forgotten, like you said, that just the
mhm.
stage presence and all of
Yeah,
that like matters so much.
material. So crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I definitely think like, you know, where you said like it's the stage presence is kind of similar to acting. Like I've never I'm used to being a drummer, so not having to really do a whole lot. Originally I played drums and
Oh,
then
cool. I love that.
yeah, so like I'm drums is my main instrument, guitar is my second. So
Mhm,
playing guitar, like getting it like on stage, like really this is kind of like I played guitar in a band like when I was in college in like 2012, but we only played a couple shows. And other than that, I hadn't played guitar in a band on stage. So like even now, like I'm struggling trying to find how I want to act on stage because like
mhm.
most of the time I don't move because I'm not used to it. I'm not used to like
Yeah.
having to kind of get into that like you
You've
said,
come
kind
out
of
of
like
your
acting
shell
moment.
though,
I
I
have, I have,
because
I
I
have.
have
but
pictures of
also
you like first show I ever shot you and you're like
Yeah,
turned around
yeah,
and just doing
yeah,
that. But then when you're
yeah.
in scenario of a 3-piece at Bad Burger, you were moving
Right,
across and
exactly.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely it's cool to kind of like I guess I never really thought about it that way, but it's cool for you to kind of just be like you kind of have to not that you're faking it, but you're putting something forward that you're not necessarily totally used to, but you
Mhm.
kind of have to get that reaction from people, right? And so
Yeah,
like I'm definitely starting to learn that a little bit. Like, you know, like I
yeah.
mean, I've been in the band for 3 years, and I'm definitely like Ash said, like I'm definitely coming more out of my shell.
Mhm.
But it's you know like I don't think I'll ever move like you move. I mean, granted, I have a guitar, so I can't.
I was gonna
But
say,
yeah, yeah,
if I had a guitar on me, I couldn't do it. Like
yeah,
it's simply because I can just like swing the mic wherever and it doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
But like, I think that's a cool part because like you kind of have to have a vocalist who definitely puts themselves forward, and like I mean, you for sure do that, and so it's like it's also hard for me to think about that too. It's like I have a vocalist in my band who also moves a lot and who
yeah,
definitely gets very like intimate on stage, and so like for me it's like I almost don't want to move on stage because I'm
yeah,
like, what if I get in his way or he gets in my way or I run into him or like I don't know. There's just like
we
I think there's
we
that
do it.
dynamic on stage too. Like so,
Mhm.
but I'm
We
trying.
no,
I'm
yeah,
trying.
I'm sure you're killing it. And it honestly, like if your vocalist gets in the way or you get in the way of your vocalist, like it's just gonna so be it. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten hit in the nose and like scratched up by specifically our bassist Owen. Like he
Yeah.
has like he and I like we combat because we both like have this like little puppy dog energy where we're like running. You know when dogs get zoomies, that's like what we do.
Yeah.
Except he has like a bass guitar on him, so he
Right.
like there's there are so many videos where he's just like for whatever reason he's not playing something and he'll just like swing it, and it's horrifying. He's like a barbarian, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
that character, but like he's like actually you got to look out for him, and like it's
Yeah.
the same way because I'm not always looking where I'm going. Like we've talked about it in terms of like looking at the stage in like a chessboard type way. Like this is how we look at it,
Yeah.
which is a whole tangent in itself.
Oh
But
yeah.
we do it in a way where like yes like we're so chaotic in a way and we're moving so much, but when there's a moment where somebody moves up, the other people move back,
That makes sense. Yeah.
and it's like you have your like you're looking at it like a playing field,
Yeah.
and sometimes we don't acknowledge that because it's just the energy of the show.
Yeah.
And like we played DC in actually this was March last year, so like a year ago, and Owen, our bassist, there's like a video of it somewhere, but he slammed the bass down and he cut my nose like this.
Oh shit.
And it was like a big scratch. And it wasn't that bad, but it definitely fucking hurt. And
Yeah.
then like 2 days later, we played in Burlington and I got donkey kicked in the face, same spot, and my nose was just gushing blood. So that stage acknowledgement, and that wasn't even him. Like that was some kid that jumped up and kicked. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was. But point being, like, push your guitar or push your vocalist out of the way if he's like
Yeah.
in a pain in the ass. Like show some love, but it's okay. Like you you can just get in each other's way, you
Yeah.
know.
That's funny.
But
That's funny.
yeah, and there's also something to be said about like being a guitar player that, or whatever your instrument is, even a vocalist that if you move or don't move, like there's like an energy to it, you know? Like there are bands like you guys do know Nails, like a band like Nails, their whole thing is they're like big static dudes that'll just stand there and
Yeah.
they just will look at you and like eyeball you, and they don't have to move and run around the stage because their whole thing is like we're bigger than you, and if you come near us we're gonna eat you like I don't know, like whatever for breakfast. Like they're
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. Yeah.
big dudes that's their whole thing. Then you have like a band like Converge where their singer acts like he like has never interacted with humans before, like Jacob
Yeah.
Band. He's just
Yeah.
like he's just like tweaking on stage and that's his thing. But
Yeah.
it's just like well, you just have to embody whatever you're doing, right? You know,
Yeah.
like you can be
Exactly.
like the static big dude, but you just have to embody it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if people see that and they just understand actually when I went to see In Flames, I think it was it was Gatecreeper and Creeping Death were the two bands that opened up.
Mhm.
Um and I think it was I can't remember which one. One of them has this like massive guitar player. The guy's huge.
Gay Creeper,
Yeah,
I
and
think
all he did on stage was just stand in one spot and like point people out, and like
yeah.
he spit on them and like was like saying like fuck you and shit, like, and I'm just like he totally like you
But
like he
people
that was him,
know what's
like
getting in
you're
you,
just
yeah.
yeah, you're just like that's that dude. He's angry and yeah, like, and it
That's
was
his
just yeah, he's just in one spot, just And I mean, he's massive. He looks like a freaking Viking, and you're just like, oh my god, this, and like it was just crazy. He barely moved.
Yeah.
He had super long hair, so he would headbang, so you wouldn't see his face at all. And then he'd like flip his hair back and start flipping people
Like
off and
bean
spitting on the
face. Yeah.
ground and shit. And you're like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like,
I swear to God, he's probably like a huge teddy bear. Like,
oh
it gets
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
not
absolutely.
not the hair part. I'm forgetting his name. Josh, I know you're watching the podcast. You can yell at me when you see this moment. But the freaking when the large member, the tallest member of Bearing Point, like he just gets that
Yes.
mean stank face on
Yeah.
and everything, and it's like he can just demolish you in one hit, and then you talk to him after, and he's wicked nice.
And he's super nice. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that. That's the I don't know. You're right. Like that acting part is definitely a huge part of it, but people can be super nice people and still be an angry
yeah,
man and put that, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's not that they're not that, it's just that they're not that for their whole, existence. You know what I mean? Once
Yeah,
they
like
hit the stage, this is me, and then it's like, okay, cool, now I'm cool. Like just don't fuck
Mhm.
with me. You know what I mean?
it's acting, but it's obviously like you're embodying some part of you. Like
Exactly.
it's just the deeper, like in-depth part of you that you're just like bringing out for this show.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
I have like this like energy in me that like sometimes I genuinely get like dog zoomies, and like being like overly energetic while performing is like the best way to get it out, you know?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's just like whatever you can embody. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a good stress reliever too. Like it's one of those things where
absolutely.
it's like you can, like you said, like you can kind of take out whatever anger or rage or excitement. I mean, it doesn't have to be angry, you know what I mean? Like it can just be like, you know, if you had a really good day and you're super positive and you just are like, man, I need to get this like energy out. And like you get on stage and like you're extra mean that day. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or like just at least you show that, like so it's
Whatever you're
That's how
yeah,
That's how
whatever you're
Angry
feeling.
Ginger started, because I accidentally just get a stank face whenever I'm listening to a good band. And then one of my friends just kind of said it because it's also at the same time a weed strain, and I worked in the
oh, no
industry
way.
for close to 4 or 5 years, and it
That's
kind of
funny.
just lined up. And yeah, it's
That's
like
funny.
I don't mean to, it just kind of happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that a weed strain? You said Angry Ginger?
Yep.
That's the band name.
It was originally at Root and Bloom.
Oh,
That's I think in the Amesbury area or
That's
Salisbury
funny.
around that, but yeah,
That's funny.
it
that is
still is around every so often.
Do you ever smoke Angry Ginger?
I have previously. It's probably been a good while, but my friend got it for me for my birthday, and it was like, oh,
So cool.
thanks.
That's
So
awesome.
sick.
Full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
But last question: what do you have coming up for you and for Nailed Shut? And all of the things, yes, all of the things you
All
have
of the
going on.
things.
Cool. So we're doing another year of the Tough Luck Fest that we talked about. Like I said, we're gonna start rolling that out. Finding headliners is the hardest part. We did it. We've got them. It's like was the biggest success. Like I remember getting the email, and Olivia is probably downstairs at this point, but she was like, we literally were like, ah! Like I've never seen her so excited. It was like such a big moment because it's such a hard thing. Just working sometimes with outside agents and diving into that part of the industry, it can be really hard. But
Sure.
we've right now, like the two artists that we're working with for that they've been awesome, and we're super stoked to have them. So that's going on. Yeah, Nailed is we're pushing along. We've got this EP finally coming out. We're like I said, we did those videos with Ian. It's cool. Like it's a 5 to 6 song concept. We're just trying to figure out if we're gonna add another one or not. But it's another EP. We're big on mental health. We've done a bunch of shows about that, and it's really important to us. So this EP is solely about that, and all the videos have to do with that. We have one actor throughout all the videos. We've never done like the actor thing really, but we thought it was important, and it's not like an overly played like dramatic thing. It's just we kind of are following this character's like embodiment of the theme we're trying to get across. And Ian crushed it. Like he got the idea across so well, and we're doing a video at this point for every song. We have 3 done, and we'll start rolling that out sometime midway through the year. Tomorrow we're announcing. I don't think the podcast will be out. Will this be out tomorrow?
It won't be out tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
It'll be out on Thursday.
So it'll already be announced, but
Correct.
this is just like a little thing that I booked myself. But we haven't played Boston in a year. We've played Worcester. We haven't played Boston in a year. I guess this is like kind of a stupid idea, but I wanted to do it just because it was fun. But tomorrow we're announcing 3 shows, completely DIY. So tomorrow, or it's at the end of the month of March. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, very last week of the month. We're playing a 60 cap basement venue. We just haven't done that in so long, and it's just like it'd be super fun. So we'll probably push the capacity a bit, but it'll be fun.
Nice.
And then after basement, and then Saturday, like that, the day after, we're doing a Providence, Rhode Island skate park, which is cool. So basement venue, skate park. And then the next day in Connecticut, we're playing again like a super small DIY space called the Crunch House. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a really small, like I think
I've
it's like
seen it pop up on flyers because it's always like starred out, and I'm like, what is this place? And you just hit that's what it freaking is. That's wild.
It's like iconic in Connecticut at this point, but it's super small. So yeah, we haven't done anything like that in a while, and we always like that's important to us, like always playing. Like I wish there were more house venues in Boston because those are some of my favorite shows we've played.
I haven't played a house show in forever. I need to play a freaking house show.
It's so fun. It's just a big party, and that's why like we're doing it. And it's such a weird idea because we're doing pre-sale for the house show and the Connecticut show. Like we're just putting like a ticket link up just because for the fact that we haven't played Boston in a year. I know a lot of people want to come, which is cool. Like a lot of friends. So by this point it'll be up, and hopefully Boston,
probably sold out.
So I'm hoping. But that's cool. And yeah, we're routing some tour to get to Denver. I don't know what yet, but we're gonna route some tour to get there. And yeah, big stuff with the new music, and we're gonna just be pushing that. And it's a big like not rebrand, but a big like we're just like stepping into this new era of the band, and we're just super excited. Like the music's like in my opinion way fucking heavier. That's a big goal for us also. Like it's just faster, it's heavier, it's bigger. I always want us to be one of the bands that's just like pushing to do like the more aggressive sound, and like those are some of my favorite bands that when you hear them you're like holy shit, I didn't think this band could get bigger, and like in terms of like the maximalist of how big the sound can get. So that's like that's what we're going for.
That's the same thing that we want to do on this next EP. It's like exact same thing. It's like I feel like you don't I don't necessarily care if the music is better. Right? Like I don't care about that. It's you want to progress yourself somehow.
In any way.
Right, exactly. Like I want the sound to be wider. I like for us, like I want more synth stuff. Like I want some more electronic stuff. Like I want, you know what I mean? Like so it's like every band has that like little thing where it's like I just don't want to rinse and repeat the same EP over and over again, you know?
I agree. Yeah.
And that's cool. I'm excited to hear what you guys come out with. That's going to be really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate
really
it.
Cool.
We are really pushing, and same with you guys. Death's Hand is awesome, and I mean, I'd love to hear the synth. I mean, that sounds cool with synths.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to hear what that sounds like. So
yeah, for sure.
We're doing a lot more on this EP with our vocalists. Like I do all the leads, and our guitarist Mason and our guitarist Joel also do vocals. Nice. Mason's this big dude, and he's got like the craziest gutturals I've ever heard. His Instagram handle is Death Metal Lumberjack. I just love telling people that because that's what he looks like. And then our other guitarist Joel, he's got these like, I think he sounds like the Tsunami guy. I don't think he thinks he sounds like the Tsunami guy, but that's okay. Goodbye, Ash. Hi, Ash.
She's here.
My laptop charger decided to stop working right before this, and it always kills the battery. So Ed and I have been like, that's why you've seen us looking down, and it's us just. Oh, now the laptop wants to still do it.
You're good. No,
But it's just us coordinating this exact move.
It was good. It was good. No, you did it. You did it so smoothly.
Yeah, we tried. We definitely tried.
But now it's like I'm the guest now, so
Yeah,
welcome to the
exactly.
show.
Have you guys done a podcast where you interview each other?
The first episode was just us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
it's
the first episode was just us. We didn't really interview each other though. That might be kind of a cool concept though.
Yeah.
I think you could like 3
Yeah.
questions each and just back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah, we definitely kind of like talked about what we wanted to do a little bit, but not necessarily like, involved each of us like specifically on questions or whatever like that. But it's that might be a cool idea. Actually, I think what we should do is we should have someone interview us on our own podcast.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
That'd be cool. Like find someone and be like, hey, you need to ask each of us individually questions, and we should do
us
that.
Also going.
Oh, we should. You know what? We should have that too, which is, yeah. we should have Josh from Bearing Point, since he watches every single episode.
So cool. That's so cool.
And that's the thing. We're not going to say anything. I know he's going to listen to this. Josh,
yeah, exactly. Josh literally tells us he watches every episode. He sits down in the morning on like Thursday, or like no, it's like it drops on Thursday and then he watches it on Friday or something. I don't know, but he literally watches every episode.
Watches Friday at work.
Yeah.
He's like true, like listens to everything. He like messaged me Friday because he didn't see that, like we said, like we were skipping the week, and he's like, no episode. I'm like, no, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna.
He's like, you should have me on again.
Yeah.
That's so sick. That's so
Josh,
smart.
you're definitely going to interview us. That would be rad.
Yes, you are.
We're gonna make that happen.
If you're watching this, DM me your favorite flavor of ice cream.
There you go.
I don't.
That's gonna be your conversation starter.
I want to receive a message that says like mint, something like that. Like,
that'd be awesome. Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
And I guarantee you he will actually do that. He's someone. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it. Cool. Yeah.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Amazing.
Cool. So that's all of the 5 questions we have, which is awesome. Really appreciate you coming on, man. Absolute blast. Fun to go through everything. Definitely, cool to see how much you're doing. It kind of blows my mind a little bit with all the stuff you kind of have on your plate, and you're very successful at what you're doing. Everything seems to be going really well. It's cool to it's cool to see so many amazing New England people doing so much and just being successful at this point. Like that's the coolest part. Like, I don't know, not just bands, everything, like being in charge of other bands and, setting up tours and, festivals, all that stuff. It's really cool to see you really, putting in that effort and time and passion. And it's
keeping the scene alive in every aspect.
Yeah.
Trying. I appreciate it. It means a lot. And I feel the same way about like how like inspiring it's been to be like specifically in New England and working with, again, people like you guys and all the people we've met while touring and whatever it may be. And I always tell people also, like, that's my favorite part of touring, just meeting people and hearing like, what do you do? What is your thing? Like, what are you so fucking passionate about?
Yeah.
And also like with the festival that we run, that's a big part of it because we have different photographers that come and shoot, and that's their art being incorporated into the thing we do. Exactly. And then we have like local businesses that have sponsored us, like Together Press and Extreme Vocal Institute sponsored us last year, and they're local to Boston and stuff like that. And it's all just like local art that people built from the ground up, helping each other out. It's just so fucking cool. And yeah. Where else but New England?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's just a lot of people coming together doing a lot of cool things, and I feel like the more we can support that, the more bands we can push out, the more photographers we can push out, the more videographers we can push it out, and just I don't know. I just it's really good to have everybody kind of be, you know,
Exactly. Everyone helping each other, everyone wins. Like I had my first show March 1st, and like the amount of like I did not shoot. I hired photographers, and just of course everyone was there. And it was like just a sea of photographers for like in the beginning, until like people like decided to throw down and everything. But like that's what makes it all worth it. Like, that's all I want at an Angry Ginger photography show.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of people who support you and support the scene, and everyone's just kind of giving their best effort and putting their best foot forward. And, you know, that's all we can ask for. I think right now as a community is just like everybody having a good time. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So awesome. Well, cool, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome rest of the night. Same with everybody else who's been watching and or listening on Spotify or YouTube. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch you all later in the next episode. And yeah, hope everyone has a great night.
Amazing.
Thank you guys later.
On the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. Have a great night.
You too.
See ya. And restoration